This is the first Tennis Masters series of the year, everyone. We're in Indian Wells in the desert of California, and it could not have turned out better for the promoters. Pete Sampras taking on Andre Agassi, number 3 and 4, but truly number 1 in the hearts of the tennis world. Andre Agassi, 30-year-old from Las Vegas.
Well, incredibly, Agassi is fit and as strong as he's ever been as a tennis player. See his record this year, 16-2, including the win at the Australian Open, number 1 in the points race because of that. And looking very determined to have a great year after the Australian Open. Last year he struggled after winning the Australian, didn't win another tournament.
Patrick, you talked about how these guys have played together so many times, so often. These two giants really do inspire each other.
Well, I think when you realize it, as great of a career as you can have, whether it's outstanding or whether it's just good or whether it's average, you're never guaranteed that one person that you really believe brings out the best, or at least forces you to, and you never guarantee that rivalry. I mean, you can win slams and you can win, and you can dominate your sport, but if you're lacking that one person that kind of pushes you and challenges you, and I think that's what I'm starting to realize I've had, and I've been so blessed to have for so many years of my career, is Pete on the other side of the net. I think he has set the standard for me in many ways. He has given me something to strive for. He has pushed me when I was on top of him, and those are the things that you value a lot. You know, the memories of those big matches with a guy that's added a lot to your career.
How true in the history of their rivalry. Sampras, 29 from Los Angeles now. This is the second serve, first point.
Sampras struggling at the beginning of this year. Actually came into this event with 3 straight losses. That's why his champion's position is at number 50. That'll go way up. Entry system position at number 3. Sampras lost to Todd Martin at the Australian Open. Todd then went on to lose to Agassi. But he's turned his game on this week. He got over that hump and got a couple of matches under his belt, and he's really played beautifully this week, especially that quarterfinal match with Rafter was the best match of the week by far. Both played at a very, very high level. Sampras lost the first, won the second in a tie break, and then won it 6-4 in the third. Sampras doesn't like that call. He's been serving and volleying quite a bit, Sampras. A little bit more than I've seen him do in the past, except for, of course, at Wimbledon. Overall, there's he's 17-12 in finals, 8-5. Sampras in slams, 4-3, a little tighter there. 14. Sampras has the edge on Agassi in just about every category, just slightly, Cliff, but
very slightly. And I'm thinking about, you know, we talked about this rarefied desert air here. It helps in some measure anyway, Sampras, because he's the more aggressive player of the two.
Oh! 40-50.
Yeah, the one thing that Agassi told me yesterday, Cliff, was that he really feels like the desert air, which is a little bit thinner, the ball goes through the air a little bit more quickly, it really will help Sampras on the second serve. Enable him to get more bite on that second.
Which is probably why he's been a little more aggressive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in a slower hard court in heavier conditions, it's tough to serve volley on that second serve.
There's one as Sampras holds on 1 game to low. We asked Sampras how their games have developed over the years.
Better players now than we were 5 years ago when we played at the 95 Open. I mean, we're good, but I think we've improved in our games, and I've had to add things to my game to beat him. He's now very fit, he's very confident, very focused. I think he's got everything in his life kind of organized, and I think Andre for a couple of years was not as focused on his tennis. Now I think he's got it all together, and it's good to see because he's good for the game. And when he and I match up, it's as good as it's ever going to get.
As good as it's ever going to get. I don't think that's an understatement.
No, definitely not. Sampras has not won a tournament since Wimbledon last year. Of course, reached the final at the U.S. Open where he got blitzed by Marat Safin.
Love 15.
And this chip and charge play, he's talked about that also, Patrick, how he's using that more often now. And I, for one, think it's a very good play for Sampras. First strike tennis.
Well, certainly his coach, Paul Annacone, has helped Sampras develop that. That was the bread and butter of Annacone's game as a player.
I sort of smile because Annacone would chip and charge even off the first serve sometimes.
Took out Arazi easily. Haas, a tough first set. Kiefer gave him a battle, 6-4 in the third. Lepenti, no problem. Leighton Hewitt yesterday, a sloppy match, that one actually. A lot of unforced errors by Agassi, but able to get out of it 4 in the third. Sampras looking sharp early here. His road, 4-4 over Prentice. So started to turn it on against Santoro, the Frenchman. Beat him 6-love in the third. That was his best set. And then Grosjean, the Frenchman, who got to the semis in Australia. After I told you about that one. Yesterday over Kafelnikov, his personal punching bag. Well, that's it. Strength against strength right there.
Yep.
Sampras attacking. Didn't get that chip deep enough or low enough, and Agassi just ripping the pass.
I think one of the telling things you just said, Patrick, is when you talked about Agassi yesterday not playing well, too many unforced errors, 40 in the end, and yet he won the match. Now, in past years when he was in downward spiral, those matches he could and did walk away from. Now, he stays in there and gives himself a chance to win.
He's so much more mature now as a player. He doesn't let his unforced errors bother him. He used to get down on himself a little bit, Agassi, and worry about what he did the previous point of the previous game. Now he gets on with things. He knows that if he can just keep his game and his mind intact, eventually his talent and his game will win out.
Game to Agassi, one apiece. If they both stay back and rally like that last point that you just saw, Agassi clearly is the favorite. Sampras has got to be aggressive and try to take control of the points. Pete Sampras has won the U.S. Open 4 times. The first time that he won it, he felt like he wasn't mature enough to have won it, and he said, in truth, if I had to do it all over again, I wish I'd waited a couple of years before I'd won the Open. He was 19 at the time, and he's the youngest ever to have won the U.S. Open. I wonder what it is about the U.S. Open that for the kids is difficult to win, because the French championships from 17.
Well, the Open, you have to be the most well-rounded, I think, as a player. You have to have a big game, whether it's from the baseline, whether it's being able to come in. You know, obviously at the French, you can be a clay court specialist and win on consistency and patience and fitness. So that's why you've seen so many youngsters over the years win on clay. You can have a, relatively speaking, one-dimensional game and win on clay.
Guys like Chang,
well,
Wielander, Borg, all very young when they won the French. $15 all, 1 game all first set. Best of 5 today.
30. As a courtesy to players, please turn off your mobile phones. Thank you.
Well, it was a great lob. Sampras got back to it well, but a good message from Agassi to Sampras not to get too close to the net there, albeit that he didn't win the point.
Yeah, he's so tough up high, Sampras. He's so quick, gets off the ground so quickly. You get a good look at it here from our camera just below the net. Sampras able to get back quickly. Try that slam dunk as much as he used to, trying to save his body. Sampras, though, has been working very hard off the court and on the court, practicing after losing 2 straight first rounds in a couple of tournaments after the Australian. Got here early, got here on Thursday, actually lost in Scottsdale last week. Sampras did in the opening round. Came here early, really wanted to practice hard. He said he practiced with a little more focus than he usually has because he hadn't had the match play. He needed to get some more work in on the practice court.
Ace from Sampras, and he wins the game. 2 games to 1, no breaks. First set, best of 5. Back live in a minute. Andre Agassi thinks that the best of 5 sets helps him against Sampras.
Well, it helps me relax a lot more, I'll tell you that, because at 2 out of 3, I mean, there's, in my opinion, as well as many other things, or I should say a few other things, Pete is the best at stretching a lead, and if you play 2 out of 3 and he just gets that one window, he can fly through that window and he can take it from 3-1 to a routine 6-3, 4-2 before you even know it, and it's like you're just behind the 8 ball, and I always worry about that with him, just making sure he doesn't come flying out of the gate and never look back, and 3 out of 5 allows me to relax and just know that, okay, you have to play well for a long period of time, so if he can do that, then
Very interesting remarks there from Agassi. Sampras actually suffers from thalassemia. It's a low iron blood condition that afflicts some people of a Mediterranean descent. You know, his parents from Greece. It's not something that he admitted to until last year, but you know, he's in much better shape now than he used to be.
Well, Agassi feels more comfortable against Sampras in best of 5, but the stats tell a slightly different story. Sampras 6-3 when they play best of 5.
Oof. Oh! Punished the return. I don't often see that from Sampras.
Well, he likes to take a few more risks on the return against Agassi, Cliff, just for the reason that you pointed out earlier, that when they're both back, Agassi certainly has the edge.
Oof, 30 all.
It's the one that, in many ways, to me anyway, Cliff, tells me how confident Sampras is, his ability to go for that backhand up the line and make it. If he's making that shot with consistency, any sort of consistency, he's pretty much unbeatable.
Open court volley, and Sampras has got a break point.
I mean, who can forget that Wimbledon final, Cliff, in '99, when Sampras was just unloading on backhand after backhand return for clean winners, putting Agassi on the defensive, just like in that point. Sampras won that match 3, 4, and 5, said it was the best match he ever played. And there he is going for it again.
You ask him about his personal career highlights, and that's the first match he talks about, Patrick.
Yeah, that's one of those performances where you're in the zone in a slam final. Maybe he's played a little bit better in some other matches, but in a big match. Oh, look at that return. Even Sampras sort of, I think, slightly surprised by that one, that angle. This is not the message that Agassi wants to be receiving early on. Sampras going after his first serve. Clean winner there.
Break point. Deuce. The other matches that he remembers were the '95 Davis Cup final against Russia in Moscow on clay. He said it's obviously his least favorite surface, and he also talks about that weekend as having been disappointed that he felt like he didn't get as much credit as he deserved for winning the cup for the US.
You saw the unforced errors there, 7-1. 7 for Sampras, but the winner is also exactly the same, 7-1 for Sampras. And that's what he likes. He wants to be able to be the one hitting lots of winners, going for more shots against Agassi. That's what will happen.
Challenging each other, deuce, long game.
Deuce.
When Agassi or Sampras serving from the side that they're on now, a little tougher with the sun. Not quite as friendly. That's going to be true all afternoon here. That one sails. Game point Agassi again. He's faced 2 break points in this game.
So interesting to see the way these two go at each other from the back of the court, because that improved fitness and the movement from Agassi really helps him thwart that backhand down the line play from Sampras. If Agassi's a little bit slow getting to that forehand on the run, he's going to put himself in a big hole. But that last point, he got there quickly. Oh, I don't care how quick he is. He's not going to catch up with that one.
Flip the line.
Sampras really going for this play early and often in this match. That is a brutal backhand up the line. Look at Agassi. He's already moving, but no chance. Catch up with that one.
I think the message from Sampras, Patrick, is I'm not going to get involved in too many long points with you, baby.
We saw the unforced errors. They're the winners. Agassi will try to outlast Sampras, play consistent tennis. Don't give Sampras any free points, and hope that Sampras' unforced errors is a higher number than his winners.
Game. Agassi holds on. It is 2 games all. Log on to ESPN.com. So from the desert paradise of Indian Wells to the island paradise of Key Biscayne off of Miami, the Ericsson Open. $15 love Sampras.
Sampras mixing up the serve there, going straight into the body of Agassi. He's used that play more and more over the last couple of years of his career. I remember when we used to show charts of the Sampras serves, he maybe hit 1 or 2 serves down the middle. He would always go to the corners. He's been able to bring that play into his game.
Oh, and missed it.
So that was an example of a body serve there, Cliff, that didn't quite get into the body. Agassi able to get a good swing at it, get it low. Sampras with a incredible pickup. Andre not able to control it.
It was an incredible pickup. You've got to figure that if from that position there, he's on the defense, Sampras, even though he's coming into the net.
He's got to be very precise with that first serve, especially when he goes into the body.
Game. Sampras.
Had a good look at that pass a couple of times. Agassi, unforced errors, taking its toll so far. 3-2 on serve first set. Here are Pete Sampras' words. It was my best ever display of playing at a high level against a top quality opponent at a very big moment. I had it all that day, Patrick.
That was the '99 Wimbledon final. Sampras 6-3, 6-4, and 7-5. Awesome display that day from Sampras. He went on to win it again last year. Almost played Agassi again. Agassi lost to Patrick Rafter in the semifinals last year.
One of the other matches that Sampras remembers well and still talks about is the '96 US Open, that epic quarterfinal match with Alex Corretja, who won this tournament last year. 4-hour, 9-minute marathon. He became ill on the court in the 5th set tiebreak. He won it, though, and went on to beat Chang in that final.
Good direction on that second serve from Agassi. Down the middle. Good kick on it, bouncing away from Sampras.
Agassi makes a good point, obviously, about how if you give Pete Sampras a window, I mean, he'll get through it very quickly. But the more obvious thing, isn't it, Patrick, is that he's in better shape, really, for a 5-set match. In the sun, in the desert.
Even more than that, I think it's just the attitude of Agassi. I mean, here's Paul Annacone as Pete Sampras' coach. He's not going to give too many points away, Agassi. He figures that over the course of a long match, that could wear on Sampras. It was early in his career, big play, and Sampras might get a lead, and Agassi get down on himself a little bit, and then Sampras would get out to steamroller. You could forget that match they played in the year-end championship in Hanover, Cliff, in '99. Over that year, Agassi dominated the tour. And Sampras, though, had to pull out of the U.S. Open as Agassi holds from 3-all. And they played in the year-end championship in the final, and Sampras just destroyed Agassi. It was almost like Andre was not even there.
And Agassi had beaten him in the round robin competition.
That's right. Get a look at the Agassi strategy clip by looking at a quick stat, which is Agassi's first serve percentage, 84%. Electing Sampras talking to someone in the crowd. There's a smile on his face. That's good.
Don't often see that.
No.
We're told that somebody had a camera in the crowd, was taking a picture of him, and he did a little pose. She's pretty loose.
The new relaxed
Yeah.
Pete Sampras. Here's the man. He's got his headphones there. He's all wired up.
Looks a little bit like Mike Agassi, Andre's dad. Actually, it's not, but it looks like.
But Agassi obviously on his serve, electing to get a high percentage of serves in. Doesn't want to give Sampras a lot of looks at the second.
13 left.
So that's that second serve that Agassi's talking about, that being in the desert here, Sampras gets a little more bite on it. Able to win some free points with that. But Andre, those are makeable returns for him. Once he gets a little bit of a rhythm, he should be able to make Pete work a bit harder. So far it's been a cruise for Sampras. He's only lost 3 points in his service game so far.
His third double fault, and this is his fourth serve game. Their careers have paralleled each other in such an interesting way, and you've already talked about it, Patrick. Agassi says, though, that the worst nightmare for Pete would be to have Andre's lifestyle and vice versa. They're not at all the same kind of personality.
And that's what makes the rivalry so interesting. Second serve there, Sampras had the high volley, but Agassi waiting for it. He's ripping that. He times it so well. Short backswing, he can handle pace, he can create pace. Still game point for Sampras. Giving Agassi a lot of looks at the second in this game.
Oh, deuce. Another double fault. Again, he's serving. The sun is a factor there.
Missed that terribly, that second serve.
Let me see, not even close.
double.
Deuce at 3-all, first set, best of 5. We're live, Indian Wells.
Oh, unbelievable.
Risky.
You hit 2 double faults in a game. You missed the last one badly. And look what you come up with, a 3-all deuce first set in the finals. 112-mile-per-hour second serve. That's Pete Sampras for you. He could double fault 4 times in a row, and he would still be confident that he could ace you on a second serve, break point down.
Game point.
Reach back on that one.
Big serving, so in spite of the 2 double faults, Sampras holds on. We're on serve for 3 first set. Agassi to 5 when we come back. Agassi had won the French Championships and the US Open, and he lost to Sampras in the final of Wimbledon, but this was the year-ending World Championship in Hanover, and Sampras bludgeoned Agassi.
He really did, and it was such an interesting year, that one, with Agassi, the comeback. Sampras then won Wimbledon, beating Agassi. Then he beat Agassi a couple of times in the summer season and had to pull out just before the US Open. Remember, Sampras got injured his back practicing with Gustavo Kirten. Agassi won the Open. He still felt that something was sort of missing from Agassi dominating that year, because Sampras didn't play at the US Open. But then Agassi went on to beat Sampras in that classic, Cliff, in the Australian. Yeah, the first one of the next year. So that sort of, I think, legitimized his year.
Exactly.
Not that it needed it.
No, it didn't. But when he won that Australian, it made him a winner of 3 of the 4 last slams, which was a tremendous record.
Career record in finals. You see, Sampras' record has always been so dominated in finals. That match he lost to Marat Safin in the US Open final last year was only the 2nd time he's lost a slam. Although, was it the 2nd or the 3rd? He lost that one to Edberg. And then he lost to Agassi at the Australian. That's right. Lost to Agassi at the Australian back in '95 in the final there. 13-3, Sampras in Grand Slam singles finals.
I think it's more important for Sampras to win the first set than for Agassi, frankly, because it's best of 5.
You think Agassi's fitter?
Yes, I do.
Sampras broke the string on that return, but still managed to get it in play and win the point. I think Sampras is in pretty good condition, though, Cliff. I think he's been working very hard this year. I mean, he's had a lot of time to work hard because he hasn't played that many matches. I'm not so sure that Agassi clearly has the edge in that area. His fitness department.
Out of reach. I'm glad to hear you say it. I certainly don't want his lack of fitness to be a factor in this match. I hope they play 5 sets, and I hope they go crazy for 3 and then some hours worth of great tennis. How to reach that one, 2 in a row for Sampras, but Agassi's still at game point.
Then the return cross court, opening up that backhand up the line.
4-3 first set, big point coming up.
Sampras step into this one right inside the baseline.
Big moment here for Sampras. He's got a break point. served last game into the sun, served a couple of double faults, got into a little trouble, climbed his way out of trouble. He's ahead 4-3 down in this game, love 40. Now break point Sampras.
Sails.
Deuce.
Oh boy, did Agassi have to work hard in that point. Great defending from Agassi there, starting right from the return, which Sampras hit cleanly. Agassi, though, using his great footwork to keep Sampras at bay in that point.
Advantage, Agassi.
The other thing Agassi doing now in these crucial points, getting the first serve in.
That one sails wide. ESPN's coverage of the final. 59 she shot.
First female to ever do that, right, Cliff?
Yeah, I mean, it's a record.
Love 50.
When you shoot below 60.
Yeah. Love 15, 4 apiece.
All these young guys, Cliff, coming up with huge serves, the Safins of the world, just bombing serves, but no one has the consistency and the placement on the serve that Sampras has. No one can hit the corners. No one can hit the big second serve when they need it. No one can keep you guessing on the return the way Sampras can, with the same toss, the same motion. You never know what's going to come. Of course, he double faults.
That's his 5th. It's a lot. I mean, an average of a double fault every game.
Four all 30 all first set.
Still, Agassi hasn't had a break point.
Good to pace off that one.
40.
Beautifully cut there. Let's see the way he's divvied up the serves. Going wide quite a bit in that deuce court. Trying to keep it away from Agassi's strength in his body. That one, another good one there. Another unreturnable.
Sampras holds on. He has the lead 5-4. Agassi will serve. We're on serve. First set, best of 5. Tennis Masters Series Indian Wells Championship match. Agassi and Pete Sampras, who says that at the most basic level, this game of tennis comes easily to me. I was born with the right genes, I guess.
What's he looking at? Looking at his speed on the serve there. 121 was the last serve he hit.
Love 15, Agassi serving 4-5. Sampras says that he's not one to go through all those motions as you watch him in the replay here, to psychologists and complicated charts breaking down his game. He's obviously interested in his serve speed, though. But he says that
15.
I just operate a little more naturally.
When you got all the natural talent that he does, you can get away with that.
Likes to keep things simple. 15 all.
You know, Cliff, I remember asking Pete
15.
a year and a half ago after that great win over Agassi when he played that flawless match in the final in '99. So I said, well, Pete, how do you do it? What was it? Something, you know, you say to yourself? And he says, you know, I really don't know how I do it. He says, I just know that at that point I have to bring out my best. And he says, I'm just able to do it.
30.
Well done by Agassi. Sampras not attacking that backhand cross-court enough, hitting it a little bit too short.
The late great Arthur Ashe, Patrick, used to talk about being in the zone. And when you've got Sampras's kind of talent, I guess you get in the zone more often than most. 30 all.
Just missed it.
Great point by Sampras there. Vicious slice. I mean, he's throwing different looks at Agassi, and he's got a set point now. Patrick, how many times have you been there? You get a shot there and you're looking at it, you say, I got this one, baby, and he just didn't even come close. A perfect setup for his favorite ground stroke, the forehand, and he sprayed it. Deuce.
Beautifully hit there by Agassi. Right into the corner with that back end.
Advantage, Agassi.
I think Sampras made a tactical error there. He did not go to try to attack that second serve because it was hittable there.
Game points.
Each and every swing now is just crucial.
Yes, sir. And they're both going for the lines, too. Angle from Agassi. Sampras out of court, having to do too much with it. It sails long. What a chance Sampras had. Set point there. Agassi has, let's see, not had a break point yet. Sampras has had 4, and that last time was also a set point, as Andre Agassi's coach Brad Gilbert watches. He's smiling now because
heck, everyone's going to enjoy this one, Cliff. I mean, this has so far been extremely well played first set.
Sampras really let him off the hook, though.
It's so interesting too, Cliff. It's not. It is so much that they're both going for the lines. But it's also now that they know that when they don't go for the lines, they're going to pay the price, as Sampras did on that deuce point on the second serve from Agassi. He didn't go for a return, and then Agassi punished him on the next shot. Look at this pickup from Sampras, keeping those legs down low, using his balance, body weight going forward.
That is a very good point, Patrick. I mean, what you're looking at here is the 2 heavyweights in the game, and they know that ordinary tennis is not going to do it.
Again, the movement and the effort from Agassi pays off. He was in trouble here. Sampras with a good first volley, good depth, but Agassi gets there. Look at that flick of the wrist. Just made Sampras hit one more ball. Five all, 15 all.
30-50.
126.
Oh, that's a great volley from Sampras. Yesterday you were saying, Patrick, that you felt that these two sort of understand now what they have meant to the game at this ripe old age of 30.
Yeah, it's really nice. I mean, because they know that we and the media and the fans treasure these matchups between the two of them. They've won 20 slam titles between them. This lady has won 22 on her own. In singles.
Shot clean winner, and Pete Sampras said, "Excuse me, Andre, that's the way it goes. Watch it again. Clean winner. I'll take it." Sampras in the lead. He has a look at Agassi serving in the last game. This is set point for Sampras. How big a point was this, folks? You can see Agassi pretty much in control of this point. And then just take a look at what happens here in a second as Sampras turns the table on him here. Now look at freeze it there. Here is his chance. Set point, remember. Now let it roll. What does he do? Set point for Sampras. Bam! Wide. Agassi stays in it, and he's still in the set. Agassi serving again now, trailing 5-6.
Well, Pete has been the one putting the pressure on the Agassi serve. 4 break points Agassi has faced. That one set point that we just showed you. And again, the backhand up the line from Sampras working.
Little gaze there from Sampras on that backhand, just long, but it clearly was.
Sampras really unloaded on that forehand and that point, almost right down the middle of the court. But Agassi is handling the pace from Sampras so well. Sampras trying to mix it up. The chip charge, but look at Agassi take this ball on the rise, take it early. Watch the way Agassi steps into the court, lines it up, give him a target. He'll hit it 9 out of 10 times.
Nice hit from Sampras, and then Agassi punishes it.
And that doesn't go down as a winner for Agassi, Clip, but it's just as good as one. It's very hard to actually hit winners against Sampras in baseline rallies because Pete stands so far behind the baseline and he's so quick. And a good penetrating grounding from Agassi for an easy hold.
You're watching live coverage, everyone, of the Tennis Masters Series, Indian Wells. Cliff Drysdale, Patrick McEnroe alongside. It's the championship match. Pete Sampras versus Andre Agassi. Agassi so far in trouble a lot more on his serve than Sampras has been. No break points yet on his serve, and it is now tie-break time. 1-7 with a 2-point lead. Wins the first set. This is best of 5 sets.
See their 12th tiebreak they've played against each other, very close in that department. 6-5 Sampras. They played 2 in that Australian Open Classic last year.
1-0.
Agassi won the crucial tiebreak in the 4th. And went on to win it 6-1 in the 5th.
Mini break to Agassi.
2 errors Agassi's made from the back of the court. That was good defense by Sampras in that point. Off a big inside-out forehand from Andre. Now 1 apiece.
First.
Agassi's only made 5 errors in the match. Talk about knowing when to tighten your game up. He made over 40 against Hewitt in the semis yesterday.
Sampras is really the one who's making things happen in this match. I mean, if you look at the unforced errors and the total winners, 18 and 17 respectively, and then for Agassi only 5 and 6. As you pointed out, though, Patrick, sometimes it's tough to call what is a winner. It's sort of a subjective judgment, or an unforced error for that matter. 2-1 Agassi in the breaker.
Wow. 2 doubles in the tiebreak for Pete Sampras.
7 double faults in all. Still an average of 1 a game. Balanced by that.
Ace number 4 or 5 make that for Sampras.
Mini break, Agassi 3-2. He leads. He'll serve 2 serves, and after the next point, their change ends, and the sun will be behind Agassi. Agassi 4-2.
2 doubles, Cliff, and 2 pretty wild forehands from Sampras so far in this tiebreak, giving Agassi his 4 points. Agassi has in many ways so far, Cliff, weathered the onslaught of Sampras. Great defensive play, making Pete come up with 1-2 more shots and a point. And Agassi too consistent.
Don't forget that set point either that Sampras had on Agassi's serve. A very makeable forehand that he sprayed. Agassi has the advantage now. 4-2. Back on serve in the tiebreak.
Tough 1-2 from Sampras there. A nasty slice that Agassi handled pretty well. And then Pete took a chance, Cliff. Ran well around that backhand to hit that forehand, and he forced the error from Agassi. Dude, that's one of those ones that you're talking about. That, I mean, to me, that's almost as good as a winner. It's a forcing shot from Sampras. 3-4. He read that serve. He was looking for it up the middle. What will Sampras do here? Will he go for the big one out wide? Oh, Agassi sat on it. Came right into the wheelhouse of Agassi, that backhand return.
Not only didn't he go wide, but Agassi did not agree with you there, Patrick, and he was right on top of it.
It really was. Look at that. He measured it, timed it perfectly. Now he can serve out set number 1.
Sampras hasn't chipped and charged in a while. The last time that he did, he got passed thoroughly. That will go wide. Back even at 5 apiece.
You know what, Cliff? Agassi'd only been into net once in the tiebreak. I mean, in the whole set. He didn't want to come in there, but he was forced to come in. And Sampras kept his cool, made Agassi stretch out where he's not comfortable.
5-5. missed it.
6-5.
Same one that he had on the set point there. That time he barely missed it.
Now set point for Agassi. His first. Agassi has not had a break point on Sampras' serve.
2 doubles for Sampras in this tiebreak.
Double faults. Now what does he do? Beautifully played point from both guys. Sampras going for the big second serve with the forehand, the return. At his feet, he comes into the net, and Agassi with a tremendous passing shot on set point. He's won the set.
Well, he saved one set point, and boy, did Agassi take a rip at that pass. He's won set number 1.
Agassi's won the first set, make no mistake about it. He feels really good about his game these days.
I'm better now because I'm a better athlete now. I'm stronger now, I'm fitter now, I move better now, and that's the fundamental of my game is my movement. If I can move well and move for a long period of time, when I get to that ball, I'm going to have options, and that's what I believe in most about my game now is that I'm a smarter player because I have more options and I'm experienced, and all that can come together because physically I'm in position to do that.
First point, second set. Goes to Sampras. Agassi serving love 15. First set to Agassi in a tiebreak. Patrick, what is it that makes a 30-year-old that's probably worth $120 million work so hard to stay on top of world tennis? What's his motivation?
Well, I think it's to get the most out of himself, and I think he for a number of years did not do that. Because he's one of the greats. I mean, it's like you say the same thing about Michael Jordan. Why did he want to come back? Why did he want to do it year after year? Because it's a drive. You know, it's a drive, the intensity of a champion. Look at that, 6 titles since turning 29 is remarkable. 4 of those slams. There's a perfect example of what Andre was just talking about. That movement, the fitness, the desire, giving him options. Look at the way he fights this point, fights it all the way through, and then letting his talent take over. But his talent not able to take over if he doesn't have those wheels. He's running up those hills in Las Vegas in December. That's what gives him those options, Cliff.
30-15.
No call. Agassi looking for one.
And the first set is one, as you can see, 12 of the 13 lost matches between these two. Now, I suspect that if you check the history between most, you win the first set, chances are you're going to win the match, but maybe not to that extent.
So I think Sampras has to take a few more risks like he did on that return. Just whack a couple. Try to send the message as well to Agassi that he's going to attack the serve. Agassi, Cliff, is playing too well for Sampras to play with any sort of defense.
This game, you can see it only on ESPN. For more, log on to ESPN.com, everyone. Pete Sampras trailing Andre Agassi, 1 set now, 1 game to love. Agassi not yet broken Sampras. He won the first in the tiebreak. No service breaks yet.
And Sampras has been mostly employing that tactic, Cliff, I mean, we told you about the stats where he has a lot more winners and unforced errors. But I think he even has to do it more now. He has to take more chances because it's obvious that Agassi's not going to miss. He's only made 5 errors so far.
So what happened to that guy who made over 40 errors in 3 sets yesterday? He has tightened up his game as Agassi.
15.
It's obviously also a different matchup because Sampras is coming in a lot more and keeping the points shorter, but certainly Agassi had a sort of not relaxed, but he knew, he had a confidence that his best wasn't completely necessary against Leighton Hewitt yesterday.
Yeah, but the real truth is it is a completely different matchup,
Yes.
as you said, because Leighton Hewitt hardly, I mean, he comes in to pick up a chip. That's about it, shake hands. But Pete Sampras, completely different, much more all-round type player. 30-15 Sampras.
7 aces now for Sampras to go with his 7 double faults.
Sampras was saying that Agassi's life, at least in Sampras's eyes, is pretty together, Patrick. He's been with longtime girlfriend Steffi Graf now after his divorce from Brooke Shields. Would you agree with that? It seems to me that way.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I think he's, you know, his focus and his concentration is all towards his tennis now. And certainly Steffi has enough experience in that department to know what that's about.
Game point Sampras.
Game 6.
1 game all.
1 game all.
Whereas Sampras, on the other hand, has always had that focus on his tennis in his life, and to some degree, it's changed a little bit for Pete because he's gotten married recently. He's moved back to Los Angeles. He's getting out more. He goes to the Laker games a little bit more. You know, he's trying to have more of a life other than just that tunnel vision of the tennis that has been his life for so long.
50.
Agassi last year, he says, hurt by, and I agree with, he's having to travel to Zimbabwe after winning the Australian Open singles.
Out.
That's why it took a lot out of him physically.
13.
And then the illness of both his mother and sister. In the latter part of the year, he was not focused, not concentrated. This year, though, those things all seem to be behind him.
Oh! 14. 50.
So difficult right now to find a chink in Agassi.
Yeah. Just what I was thinking, and albeit that Sampras has not faced a break point, I mean, time is still, I think, on Agassi's side.
40. 30.
That's the first double of the day for Agassi, Cliff. And his first serve percentage still way up there at 75%. Remarkably consistent tennis from Agassi so far.
This is the 30th meeting between the two. It is Pete Sampras and Andre Agassi. Agassi leading. Welcome back, everyone, to the desert of California, Indian Wells. Pete Sampras and Andre Agassi. First set to Agassi in a tiebreak. He leads 2-1 in the second. Sampras to serve. Sampras hasn't been broken yet. 30th time that they are playing against each other, these two, and only twice before, one in '92, has Agassi been able to win back-to-back matches against Sampras. The other time was in '95 when he won Key Biscayne, and then they played later in the year in Montreal at the Canadian Open. Last time they played, Agassi won it. It was at the Australian in 2000.
15.
17 and 12 overall. Sampras leading Agassi in their head-to-head rivalry.
Agassi at 60% of returns in play. Still hasn't broken Sampras, though.
13.
Sampras serving in this game with new balls. Really flying through the air quickly. This desert air. Agassi's never won this event, Cliff, believe it or not, having grown up in fairly similar conditions in Las Vegas. He's lost to Sampras in the final once back in '95 and one other year. He has won it twice, but the last time was here in '95. Sampras won that in straight sets, 7-5, 6-3, 7-5. By far the most tournament he's played without winning. Agassi. Routine hole for Sampras there.
2 apiece, second set.
2 games on.
Pete Sampras says that he generally keeps people at arm's length. Pretty good at separating his tennis from all the other stuff. Not a lot of people in his life, he says, not that many acquaintances. But he says, I do know what I want.
I think that's starting to change a little bit for Pete. I think that's one of the reasons he moved back to California. Jeff, I think certainly living in Florida and Tampa for many years, as you see a replay of this huge forehand from Sampras, was good for Sampras' tennis, but he felt like he was away from his family, his friends, not much else to do there for him.
Says that his mom was the rock of his family. He used to feed him Pete tennis balls, and he was so crazy about the game that just a kid. Started out dirt poor, moved to this country from Greece, not speaking a word of English.
It's just amazing, Cliff. I mean, Sampras is throwing everything at Agassi, trying to figure out some way to make Andre miss, or at least to make him give Sampras a short ball, but nothing is working. Sliced his backhand there, put some real nasty slice on a few of those. Agassi will not give in anything right now. Just continues to make shots, get in perfect position from the baseline, force Sampras to come up with something spectacular to win a point, especially a baseline point.
Agassi holds on, and he has a lead 3 games to 2. The players will take a break. We'll join them. First set, Agassi in a tiebreak. This is the championship match. Agassi's won the first set, 3-2 in the second. Agassi, Patrick McEnroe, asked Pete Sampras yesterday how important it is for him to be #1 now.
Well, it's not really a huge concern. I'd love to get back up to #1, and really, in order to do that, you need to play all the big 9 and all the slams, and I'm not sure if I intend to do that, but I feel like I've done that. You know, I've done that in my career, and having done it for a number of years, and you know, maybe it's time for someone else to deal with the pressure of being ranked #1. You know, that's why I'm losing my hair. So, so it definitely isn't as much a priority as it used to be.
Made it a priority for a while, didn't he? He was #1 at the end of the year, 6 straight years.
It was that last year that really took it out of him, though, Cliff. Remember when he was chasing it? He spent about 6-7 straight weeks in Europe to secure that record. At that moment, he was tied with Connors, his 15 love here at 2-3. For having finished #1 5 consecutive years, he really wanted to break that record. He did it. He finished 6 straight years at #1. If it happens, it happens. But Sampras isn't going to go after it and play the number of weeks necessary just to make that happen.
You know, Patrick, he said that he never felt that he got the recognition he deserved for that achievement. 2 occasions, actually. One was that Davis Cup win over Russia, and the other one was that.
And that's rubbish. We give him the recognition. I mean, we in the tennis world and people that really know give it to him.
30,
I don't buy that. There's a solid pass here from Agassi. Look at the way he hooks it in there.
Clean winner, 30-15 for Sampras.
That's a good play from Agassi there. Taking a little bit off that return, making Sampras hit the half volley. I think Pete has a little more trouble at net creating something off of a softer ball. He's very quick and he can handle pace very well, Sampras, but that one at his feet, much more difficult. Some players come in, they don't have real quick hands, they don't react that well. Sampras does that well. It is again. The sense now, Sampras
30.
a little bit out of rhythm coming to net. Pressure from Agassi starting to wear on him. The consistency from Agassi. Break point. First of the day for Andre.
Deuce.
You're watching live coverage, everyone, of the Tennis Masters Series, Indian Wells. Cliff Drysdale, Patrick McEnroe in the championship match. Sampras and Agassi. First set, tiebreak, Agassi. He leads 3-2 in the second. Deuce with Sampras serving. We're on serve in set 2. Best of 5. Now game point Sampras. Sampras not been broken. No breaks of serve in the match yet, in fact. Major League Baseball players. Information, log on to ESPN.com.
50.
Agassi with his second ace.
Very. But you were saying, Patrick, before the last break about Agassi's game and the way he plays against Sampras, what Sampras has got to do. I'm wondering whether you think that is he doing anything different today that he does against anybody else?
Talking about Agassi?
Yeah, because the things that you were saying, and as I was saying, I'm thinking, well, you know, he could be talking about playing against Kafelnikov.
I think he is. Well, I'm not sure he's doing it different, but he's doing it better. And he knows he has to do it better. I think he is taking a little bit off his first serve. He's at almost 80% now. I think that's an adjustment he's making just against Sampras.
Right.
He might do that against someone like a Krychek or someone that is going for a lot of winners and he knows from the back of the court. But generally, he is making an adjustment.
Out.
Called long, and the game goes to Agassi. Sampras not very happy with that call at 40 glove. It's probably not a bad time for that to happen. If it was indeed a bad call, I don't think it was. 4-3, Agassi leads. No breaks yet. Leads 4 games to 3. Sampras about to serve. This is the championship match, everyone. He has a look at that last point as it clearly did hit the line there. So Pete Sampras had a lot to argue about and would have liked to, but it was 40 love after all. And Agassi won the game. Bad call there against Sampras, but that is... There's never a good time for a bad call, I guess, but if there is, that's the best. 4-3, Agassi leads. He's up a set.
Sampras cannot afford to take anything off the first serve or not place it perfectly, because this is what'll happen. See Agassi not having to stretch, hitting the winner up the line. Players have to be so precise with their strengths. Agassi's been doing it with his ground strokes, with his consistency. Sampras has to do it with that serve. Oh, yes. Agassi timing it right off the ground, hooking it. Here it is. Not a great return. Sampras gets it pretty deep on the return, on the volley. Agassi there in plenty of time again, not having to move, not having to get out of position.
Agassi has had 1 break point only in this match.
That was in Sampras' last service game, though, Cliff.
Now love 30.
He's starting to get a beat on the Sampras serve.
Yep. Second serve. 3 break points for Agassi.
See, Sampras is just taking a little bit off his shots. He's not going for enough. Look, Agassi again in perfect position. 3 clean winners from Agassi to give him 3 break points.
Saves 1. Agassi and Sampras, the last standing of the 4 Musketeers. Although Chang's still out there trying his best. Jim Courier has hung up the rackets. That one sails wide, so he saves 2. In fact, it is Sampras who says that Chang made the first move, and he did when he won the French in '89, and then Sampras won the Open in '90. But then he said, I disappeared while Jim Courier went on a tear. And Agassi was in the thick of it all the way along. That sails, and Sampras has won 3 in a row. So Agassi has had 4 chances to break now without any success. That is a great shot.
I think that Agassi was feeling pretty confident when he saw Sampras stay back and take a little bit off that second serve. Pete answers, and a huge point for him, especially being a set down. Unloads on the backhand up the line. It's his 5th backhand winner. I think they've all been down the lines.
great comeback game from Sampras. Down love 40. And with Agassi starting to climb right on top of his serve, he came through, played a brilliant game, and it is even at 4 apiece. Still no service breaks in this match yet.
With the defense there, and maybe more importantly, making Sampras move, making him run more. Thirty love. Again, Agassi getting Sampras on the move. Points.
Game, Agassi.
Agassi easily holding on 5 games to 4. Sampras will serve, and we come back to our live coverage of this championship match. Indian Wells. Two biggest names in men's tennis for the championship here. The first Tennis Masters Series of the year. Pete Sampras and Andre Agassi. Agassi won the first set in the tiebreak and leads 5-4 now.
Well, if it was possible, Agassi has tightened up his game. Look at that. Unreal. 1 unforced error in the second set. 5 in the first set, which of course was a tiebreak. He's put the pressure on Sampras in the second set so far. He's the one with the break point opportunities. They're the winners by set. Sampras with a lot more in the set number 1. The gap a lot smaller in the second set. They both had 4 break points, Cliff. Sampras's all came in the first set, including 1 on a set point. Agassi's have all come in the last 2 service games for Sampras.
15 love Sampras.
If there were anyone else in the world, you say it's almost a certainty that Agassi's going to break and that he's starting to get, really get a stranglehold on this match. But with Sampras and his ability to hit the serve and his ability to hit a couple of winners out of nowhere, that he's always in it.
It's what I was thinking one serve game ago, Patrick, when he had love 40. Oh, he got it. That will be the shot of the match. On the line.
40.
Comes right back.
Yep.
Ace number 11, or number 12 now.
Spin lob is perfect.
It's just a treat, isn't it?
Yes.
To watch the shot making of both these guys. Agassi, we saw him hit the little dink on the dead run and then the top spin lob. Look how far in it lands, too. Plenty of margin on that.
Still game point for Sampras.
Oh.
That's another 13th ace.
The better shot you come up with, the more I'll put my serve right in the corner.
It is 1:15 local time out in California. A couple of hours drive from LA, from Palm Springs, about, depending on which way you go, about 15-20 minutes drive. We're at Indian Wells.
Oh! 15.
No blowout in this matchup today.
No.
Sampras' game has gone off a little bit, except for his serve. He made more shots in the first set. He's made more errors in the second set, but he's served better in the second set than he did in the first. That's kept him in the set so far.
30 love. Oh, yeah.
Agassi just continuing, Cliff, to be so disciplined. Never going for the shot at the wrong time. You thought maybe he could have gone for it on that first backhand, but no, he waits patiently, gets really the one he wanted, and then takes it up the line. The short ball. Agassi gets a good height over the net, just inside the baseline.
Game points.
Another easy hole. He's had a few love games in this second set.
Will we see a tie break for the second set? Sampras has to win his serve for that to happen. Welcome back to our live coverage of the Tennis Masters Series Indian Wells Championship match, number 3 and 4. That's their seeds here, folks. In truth, they are the number 1 and 2 players in the world. Still, make no mistake about it. They don't play as much as the top players right now. But Pete Sampras and Andre Agassi are in the latter stages of the second set. Agassi won the first in a tiebreak. Sampras serving here to get into a tiebreak for the second set. First serve called fault. Sampras doesn't like this one. There will be no overrule.
Late call there. Linesman there.
Baseline was an easier call than that.
Too far away from him for the chair ump to make this call.
Absolutely.
Pretty good to me. That could have been wide.
Yeah,
hard to see where it bounced there.
Yeah, but I think it clipped the line.
Usually it's the more athletic Sampras that wins these types of rallies. But Andre Agassi, as he told us, his biggest improvement is he's a better athlete. And he shows it in this point with great wheels in the opening point in game number 12.
I mean, for him to get to that one, the one that he hit before there and pull it cross court, really surprised Sampras. Love 15.
See now that first point, that gives Agassi 2 points because that won him that second point there.
I agree.
That's what he talks about when he says it gives him more options and gives him a psychological edge against his opponents, his fitness.
And he is non-stop motion, Agassi. You can see him right there. He has not stopped moving. I mean, he's walking, he's shuffling.
Love 30.
And the second serve.
Yep, he measured it.
Can Sampras come back like he did with the sun behind him from this side of the court and win 3 in a row again? If he doesn't, the set is history and he's 2 sets down. Set points coming up. Tiebreak in the first set. That is the first time that either player has been broken, and Agassi leads by 2 sets to none.
Well, it really was a matter of time because Agassi has been relentless in this match, giving Sampras nothing. And finally, Agassi breaks through at love, taking a commanding 2-set lead.
In Open last year, it lived up to its billing.
Set came down to a tiebreak. Agassi won it, and then steamrolled Sampras, who was there's Team Agassi as Sampras headed for the exits at Melbourne Park in defeat.
Agassi took out Evgeny Kafelnikov last year. That was a 4-set win for Agassi, and then he repeated, as you said.
First.
Beating Clement, Honor Clement in the final this year in straight sets. That's the first error he's made in a long time, Agassi. He made 2 errors total in that second set, Agassi.
Agassi's got to be enjoying this moment. Up 2 sets to none. He's fit, he's strong, confident. And Sampras, on the other hand, has got to be saying, wait a sec, I got 3 sets to win. I came out the first set, I was blasting away, trying to get the points over quickly. Didn't work, lost it in the tiebreak. This is a tough hill to climb. 30 all, now he is complaining. Watch this.
30.
Let me tell you, umpire could beat him. I don't know what he said before he said that.
You hear that too often from Sampras. There's a little bit of indecision now from Sampras. He hit the perfect backhand right there to set it up for that forehand, and I could just see the different thoughts going through his mind as he was ready to hit that forehand, whether to hit it with heavy spin, to flatten it out. That's because Agassi has made him work so hard, not giving him anything. And now it's an overrule there. Sampras perturbed.
As perturbed as he can be, that's for sure, as Agassi has won the first game of the third, and he leads by 2 sets.
You know, to answer your comment you said in the last game, Cliff, I thought was interesting when you said that Agassi was feeling comfortable and happy. You know, I don't think he is. I mean, I think that's the difference in him now, is that he's not satisfied. He's not satisfied until he hits a stretch return winner. Unreal. This time he was at full stretch. Remember the last game where he broke for the set? Sampras didn't get out of his range, but even now, at full stretch, look at this beautiful split step there. He reacts.
Well, I knew it wasn't going to be long before you try to bury me again, Patrick.
That's why I'm here, Cliff.
Yeah, baby.
But no, I think he doesn't get too
I
high or
understand
too
what
low
you're
in the
saying.
match now, and I think that's
And that's smart.
his.
Plus, let's face it, you're playing against Pete Sampras, excuse me. You're not going to just, like, say, you know, I'm going to win this easy and let me just go through the motions. He's going to have to earn it. He knows that.
He's so tunnel vision now on the court, Agassi.
15.
We're talking about all that stuff about Agassi, the flamboyant one, the guy from Las Vegas,
The showman.
the showman, and all. And he doesn't do that at all on the court really anymore. He's so concentrated on taking care of each and every point and his strategy, how to break his opponent down. The great thing is that the genius comes out in his play. I mean, we've seen it today. We see it there with that return.
I've always said he never needed the flamboyancy. I mean, from a personality standpoint, only because he's got such a great game to watch. You're watching live coverage, Tennis Masters Series, Indian Wells, championship match, third set, first 2 sets to Agassi. Break point here for Agassi. He leads 1-love in the third. Still break point for Agassi coming up.
Remember what Agassi said about Sampras, that Sampras has that ability to stretch a lead quickly, to go from a 5-all in the set to up a set and then up a break in the next set. That's what Agassi wants to do right here. If he can get this break in 10 minutes, this whole match will be completely in his favor. Well, that's it. The lead has been stretched by Agassi. And he didn't have to do that much on that return. The pressure that he's been putting on Sampras paid off there.
Just to put a postscript on what we were saying, there's another way to put it about Agassi, and that is if Agassi had never said boo to a goose in all of these years, on or off the court, his game still speaks for itself. It is electrifying and it is tremendous to watch and always has been. 2-love, he leads in the third and 2 sets to none. 15-love with that ace.
Only his third of the match, but still, Cliff, his percentage, 80% on first serves. Remarkable. Absolutely stunning. 22 winners for Agassi, 8 errors. So this is what's so interesting about Agassi's game, too, is that as the match goes on, he starts to hit more winners. But the way he does that is by playing consistently, by not going for winners early in a match, because then his opponents start to go for too much, then they start to come in a little bit more. That opens up so many more options for Agassi down the road. And now he's got a whole host of them open to him.
Agassi, just by the way, leads the points race, the tour points race this year, having won the Australian. In spite of that double fault, if he wins this against Sampras today, he is going to extend his lead considerably.
They'll give him 100 points, Cliff, in the champions race. The loser collects 70 points. He'll also pick up a cool check for 400 grand in this tournament. The loser, by the way, gets $190,000. Agassi looking to win this title for the first time in his career. In addition to his 13 majors, has won 11 of these Tennis Masters Series events over the years, including this one twice. Agassi's won 10. The player with the most currently playing next is Michael Chang, 7.
Game point Agassi for 3-love in the third set. He's up 2 sets to none. That one sails, and a disconsolate looking Pete Sampras Goes to the sideline. Agassi, a lot happier look about his walk as he leads 3-love at 2 sets. We're live in Indian Wells, everyone. It's Pete Sampras and Andre Agassi in the championship match. Sampras trailing by 2 sets to none. He's serving, but he's down 3 games to love. He's taken on a man who in the last 2 years has played in 5 Grand Slam finals and has won 4 of them. Andre Agassi. On the line, easy for Agassi. Love 15. Sampras in his own right winning Wimbledon 2 years ago. He repeated last year and got to the final of the US Open, losing to Safin.
Look at Agassi continuing to go after everything. Looking to steamroll in this final set. There's a Masters Series title leaders.
15 all. Remind everyone that Andre Agassi has now won every Grand Slam. Started out by winning Wimbledon. That was back in '92, and then he won the US Open. He's won the Australian a couple of times. He won the Open twice. He's won the Australian twice. Make that 3 times now with his win this year.
It's the first time he defended successfully a Grand Slam this year at the Australian for Agassi.
Crowd giving Sampras a hand. I think there's the will for this match to go on a little longer than it now promises to go. Oh.
A little late for the carver.
40-50.
Sampras getting Agassi at full stretch. Knifing that. Taking the pace off it.
Agassi has never won this title at Indian Wells.
Game 7.
And as we asked him about it earlier in the tournament, he said, yeah, I can't understand it.
Agassi leads 3 games to 1.
Very similar conditions to my home in Las Vegas. Agassi trying to join Gustavo Kuerten, the second 2-time winner on the circuit this year.
Slightly bigger victories for
I'm
Agassi.
just going to say that. There's been 2 clay court, South American clay court events. Not to take anything away from Kuerten, but this is a different league.
Kuerten has a couple of big weeks coming up for him. He lost to Sampras, you remember, in the finals of the Ericsson last year, and then a big Davis Cup match for Kuerten in Brazil against the Australians. Week after the Ericsson. 30-15. This game.
Sampras is struggling, obviously, but Still giving it everything. Watch.
30.
Agassi playing great defense again in this point. Finally, Sampras able to hit the backhand into the open court. Had to hit 3 or 4 great shots in that point. Sampras to finally win it, though.
Game point to Agassi, who's serving. By the way, our producers and directors, the geniuses down in the truck, are giving me a hard time. They say I'm trashing Kirtan. I'm not. I'm simply making the statement as you watch this replay that Kirtan has won 2 titles this year, and he's the only player to have done it. That's sort of a positive comment. Then I said, well, you said those titles weren't the big ones. I'm not. Kirtan had a great year last year. Ended up #1 in the world. Okay? Game point, Agassi.
Game, Agassi.
Agassi holds on, and he is now very much in control. 1 break up, 4-1. He leads 2 sets to none against Sampras for the title. Pete Sampras respects Andre Agassi so much that when Agassi was down at 140 in the world, Sampras was the one who kept saying that Agassi, was still the man.
I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that for many reasons, but I think first and foremost is what I believe that says about my game. For a guy who's at the top, when you're way off the charts, 140 in the world, he still has that respect and belief in your abilities. It did inspire me a lot. I can't say that lasts every day as you're grinding and working and paying the price that what's required to come back. But I'll never forget not just the respect he showed in feeling that way, but his comments to actually say it. That meant a lot. I felt a lot of support from him through that.
So he gives Sampras credit. I would say that, Agassi. Double fault on the first point there from Sampras, down 1-4. It's love 15. Is there a way out of this hole for Sampras? Down love 30, 1-4 and 2 sets.
No.
Nope.
Cone, his Pete Sampras' coach, has to be happy overall with the week of Pete Sampras, finally getting his game together. With wins over Grosjean, Kafelnikov, Rafter. Not enough, though, so far against Agassi. Now the errors flowing from the Sampras racket. 2 break points to put a lid on this one. Time ranking improvements. Look at that, what Agassi did in '98. From 122 to 6, and he did it the hard way. He didn't do great in the majors that year, remember? Week in and week out, and he set his sights on the majors in '99.
He started out in the junior tour, remember?
Challengers, yeah.
Yeah, Challengers, and one of them in Las Vegas, which I guess he didn't win that one, and then he won one other.
In Burbank.
Yep.
Played one in Burbank, California.
Break points.
30.
And no break points Agassi did against the Sampras serve until midway through the second set. Now he is looking at his 8th.
The spirit of Agassi, as you watch this again, is bending if it has not been broken yet. Deuce. The spirit of Sampras. That's what I mean. Agassi's spirits could never have been higher. Coming off a win at the Australian this year.
Advantage Agassi.
Leading the points race. Now with a break point to go up 5-1 to serve for it. His first Tennis Masters series of the year against Sampras, no less. His chance for another match against Sampras at the Australian this year spoiled by Todd Martin, who beat Sampras.
Game, Agassi.
Double fault and Agassi leads 5-1. 4 points away from the title.
Agassi leads 5-2.
Of course, the other thing that is propelling Agassi is how poor his year was last year after the Australian Open. Talked about the problems he faced, physical and emotional. Didn't win another title. Repeated at the Australian and wanting to continue that play this year. Picking his spots, playing well in the big events. 12th time he's been here in the desert in Indian Wells, Cliff, and Agassi now looking for his first win here.
And our coverage continues next Sunday from Key Biscayne near Miami. The biggest event outside the US Open, the Ericsson Open.
First serve. First serve.
Agassi, Cliff, looking for his 47th career title here today.
Couple of points away from that.
30-50.
Started to get on Sampras' serve, as I said, midway through that second set. Put pressure on each and every one of Sampras' service games, and it's a quick downhill slide for Sampras.
Yeah, he got a grip and he just never let go. Match points, championship points too for Agassi. Sort of anticlimactic, I suppose, Patrick. You look at these two heavyweights, they have so much respect for each other. You expect one of the great matches, maybe of all time, as well as Agassi has been playing, and Sampras with a comeback of sorts, mini comeback anyway in this tournament, but he was not up to this firepower of Agassi's ground game.
Well, as I said, it was a good week for Sampras as Brad Gilbert looks on, but Agassi clearly showing as Steffi Graf looks on, and Agassi going over to hug his team, Gil Reyes, his trainer. These guys have been together through it all, and Gil told me earlier in the week, you know, we want to keep working hard. You see what it means to Agassi to come back and to do well after the Australian Open. setting him up for another fantastic year and clearly putting him at the top far and away from everyone else. And he just had an answer for everything that Sampras threw at him. Sampras was able to throw it a lot at him in the first couple of sets, but too many errors for Sampras, 0 for 4 on break points, and Agassi only 10 errors in the entire match. Just a phenomenal performance, a disciplined performance from Andre.
Agassi in straight sets after he had taken out Leighton Hewitt and before that Nicholas Lepenti here at Indian Wells in the first Tennis Masters Series. They're both at courtside now. Andre, first of all, congratulations to you. The first set, I guess, really told the story. You were down a set point. You were able to hold on, and then the tiebreak went your way.
Yeah, I was down a number of break points. I tell you, one of the things you have to do against Pete is, I mean, you have to weather his storm, and he comes out and really puts pressure on you and makes you execute right from the start. And I was fortunate to get through the first set without losing my serve, and the breaker can go either way. And then I picked up the level of tennis late in the second and got the break at 5-6 and up 2 sets. It's easy to relax.
Well, obviously we thank both you guys for coming on. Pete, you being the loser especially, but as Andre said, he was able to weather your storm. You came out pretty sharp. I mean, you had a lot of good backhands up the line, especially. How important was it in retrospect that you weren't able to sort of get over the hump in that first set?
Well, it was a huge part of the match. You know, had a set point and, you know, had a few chances, but Andre, he came up with some good stuff at the right time, and you know, I kind of just slowly wilted away a little bit in the third set. I mean, he picked up his game, and, you know, I had a few chances, didn't convert, and it's just a bit unfortunate. But I give credit to Andre. He's had a great year, great week here in Palm Springs. But I can walk out of here feeling pretty good about the way I played this week.
Andre, having won the Australian and now the first Tennis Masters Series, that bodes pretty well for the rest of the year for you, doesn't it?
You think?
Yeah, we think so.
I tell you what, you know, if the year ended now, it's hard not to say it's been a great year, and I'm fortunate to get off to a great start. It's, you know, it all boils down to a few matches, and I tell you, it was you can win tournaments, but one thing you can't do is you can't be in a position to have a class professional, great tennis player like Pete to just bring out the best in you. I tell you, it was just a joy to be out here in a big situation on the other side of the net from him again.
Guys, thanks a lot. Congratulations to you. No luck, Pete Sampras today. Andre Agassi, winner, straight sets over Sampras. Tiebreak in the first set, then 7-5 and 6-1. Andre Agassi has won the first Tennis Masters Series Indian Wells over Pete Sampras in the final. Agassi over Sampras in straight sets. This man has been a friend of tennis for decades now. He's a tournament co-chairman, MC for the awards ceremony, Alan King.
Nice day. Ladies and gentlemen, I would first like to recognize 3 gentlemen that contribute so much to this tournament and the tour. First, our tournament referee, Tom Barnes. The ATP Executive Vice President of the Americas, J. Wayne Richmond. The President of PM Sports Management, one of the godfathers. I go back when we used to call him Hippie. Ladies and gentlemen, Raymond Moore. And now, of course, the man who brought professional tennis to the desert and gave it and just raised the bar. It's become so great, and to have these 2 champions in the finals is as much as any director could hope for. And here's our boss, Charlie Passerelle.
Thank you, Alan. How about a great round of applause for our tournament co-chairman for the last 15 years and the greatest friend tennis could ever have, Alan King. To present the awards to the player, I'd like to call the chairman and editor-in-chief of Newsweek, Rick Smith.
Thank you, Charlie. 2 great champions, 2 great careers, a great week of tennis in the desert. This is the Newsweek Indian Wells Championship. Pete Sampras. Pete, I've had the pleasure of awarding you the championship 2 times in the past. This time it was not to be. You ran into a buzzsaw out there. But I know you'll be back, and you're always great. And for your trouble, a check for $211,000.
I did run into a buzzsaw today. I'd like to congratulate Andre, and not only for this week, but his years so far. He's the best in the business against me, so congratulations. Guy's great. I'd like to thank Charlie and his staff for doing a great job. The stadium is truly phenomenal, and I think we have to give him a lot of credit for putting this all together. But I've had a great week this week. I'd like to thank my family for coming down. I have my brother Gus, my 2 sisters Stella and Marion, my brother-in-law Phil, my sister-in-law Tracy, and my father-in-law who's, put a lot of pressure on me to win, but Dale for coming out and supporting me, and my coach Paul Anacone, my stringer Nate, my trainer Alex Stober for keeping my body in one piece. I've had a great time once again. I look forward to coming back for many, many years. I love coming to the desert. So I'll see y'all next year. Thank you.
Andre Agassi has come to the Newsweek tournament 13 times. There were a number of those years when he left before I arrived. But I am delighted on behalf of Newsweek's 20 million readers in the U.S. and around the world to present the championship to a true champion. Andre, congratulations. And to go along with the crystal, a check for $400,000. Andre, congratulations once again. You got it. You got it.
This won't even buy some of the cars I've seen here in Palm Springs. The first thing I'd like to say is to Pete, and that is, it's truly a joy and a privilege to be out here competing with you, and I want to thank you for everything you've given the game, and thank you for everything you've given me, because it's added a whole heck of a lot. And next, I'd like to thank Charlie Passerelle, because you not only had the creativity to dream of this place, you had the discipline and perseverance to actually make it happen. And that's day in and day out, and you've created a paradise, and you're a credit to the game of tennis, and you give a lot to it, and thank you, Charlie. And, oh, no, you the man, you the man. I'd like to thank my coach, Brad Gilbert, for dealing with all my for dealing with all my, what would you call it, just stresses. You know, where the ball's bouncing, what shot I'm hitting, and putting up with me for the whole week and seeing me through. Thanks, Brad. And I'd like to thank my trainer, Gil, for I've dreamt about winning this tournament for a long time. It's always meant a lot to me to play well here. And all I had to do was tell you, Gil, and we dreamed to prepare here together, and we came here, and we saw and conquered. So thank you very much. And last but certainly not least, I want to thank all you fans here at Palm Springs, because you've supported me for so many years. I've been here for so many years, and not just winning, because it's the first year that's happened. I've always loved coming here. I've always loved competing here, and I've always been so thankful for how you put up with some of my, how'd you call it, early round exits? Yeah. Okay, something like that. So thank you for just a great week and a great career of coming here, and I look forward to coming back again. Thanks, guys.
Congratulations to those two. They're a credit to the game of tennis. Andre Agassi over Pete Sampras in straight sets. He's the winner here. Back in a minute.